DraftKings Sportsbook is the best place to bet touchdowns. I have teamed up with DraftKings to bring you all your favorite ways to bet touchdowns as we start to wrap up this NFL season. New customers can turn $5 into $300 if your bet wins. Paid in bonus bets, the crown is yours. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the code Sonnen, stay on the action, and use your bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Love the thrill of live betting? Bet live on star player props and in-progress games right as they happen. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code SONNEN and bet just $5 on any wager and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's promo code SONNEN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Cameron Smotherman, what a stud. Did you guys see this? He weighs in, he comes in, he strips down, he gets on the scale, he makes weight. 135.5. He hit up to 136.
135 and a half.
Gets off the scale, takes 2 or 3 steps, and he faints. He does a face plant. I love to play lawyer Chael. I don't really enjoy playing Dr. Chael. I don't make believe that I am, but if I was to guess for you, just having been in a spot and having felt that you get lightheaded and you get there really easy, whatever that means. But I trust that that's happened to you guys. Sometimes you'll be sitting and you'll jump up and you go, whoa, I stood up too fast. I'm lightheaded. Whatever that is that an oxygen? What is that? But it happens really easy when you get dehydrated. And I've heard guys say, and I believe it to be true, that when you do big weight cuts, the water will come off of your organs, your brain being an organ, that you can get lightheaded easy. Is that what happened to him? I don't know for sure. But what I'm saying is if the guy is cutting so much weight, and I don't like the concept of cutting weight, but if a guy is cutting so much weight, I mean, that is such a miserable and rare experience. And he's cutting so much weight that he's going to pass out, but he made weight. I mean, that's right. That's a tough guy. Whatever misery, whatever he was going through, so bad that his body, but he made weight. Look at that how you will, but that's a tough guy, and I hope that he's okay. And I just despise the concept, but there's nothing that I can do. Like there's nothing that I as one man can do. And there's been commissions that have pretended that they want to stop weight cutting. And I've been on phone calls, like they'll invite a fighter, and invite an expert. Hey, here's Chael, and it's not a guess. I don't have to guess how to stop weight cutting. And I've been on these calls, and there'll be doctors on these calls. And man, these guys will go on, and you're just sitting there, you put it on speaker and you push mute. And I mean, these guys are trying to break it down and give you all this scientific data. And it's infuriating, quite frankly. It's infuriating. Because the guess is over. It happened. It happened in 1998. It happened with the NCAA. And they, too, wanted to do with weight cutting. They had 3 guys die. 3 wrestlers died. No wrestlers had ever died cutting weight in the history of the NCAA. 3 died in 1 season. Now, on further review, while they were cutting weight, while they were in saunas and things like this, there was a couple of very popular substances that were going around back then. And they would cause brain aneurysms. Caused them in all sorts of Americans. It was some kind of a fat burner. You would know the name if I could produce it. But the point is, they could all be traced to that. It likely wasn't the weight cutting, but wrestling had to step in. Major leaders like Dan Gable himself had to step in and say, hey, we need to stop weight cutting or the NCAA will just get rid of us. They don't care about us in the first place. We need to stop this. So to stop it, they did hydration tests. They did some things that in hindsight were unnecessary. But the one thing that they did do that did work, that did stop weight cutting, is they made it an hour weigh-in. So what does that mean? That means you weigh in and 1 hour later you compete. If it's a tournament, they made it a 2-hour weigh-in, so they get the bracketing room and get the logistics done. But they would weigh you in and 2 hours later you compete. You simply could not compete dehydrated. And it doesn't have to be a 1 hour weigh-in or a 2 hour weigh-in. I don't know what the magic number is, but if you weigh a guy in today and he doesn't fight until tomorrow, there was really no point in weighing him in. I mean, not for nothing. We now have a marketing device. We don't have an actual weigh-in. I'm just sharing that with you. Like, there is a level of silliness to this. And by the way, if you're going to do a weigh-in that is unconsequential to the fight, there's the incentive right there. Why are guys cutting weight? Well, for that reason. It's hard for me to explain, and it's just not something that you will go through. You just won't. There's no sport that calls for it, and there's nobody that's going to do it for fun as a hobby. And I know people that think they have. They go, oh, I've dieted many times. No, I'm not talking about diet. I'm talking about cutting weight. The difference is you do the diet. The diet and the exercise all happen, and then they're done. Cutting weight is where you dehydrate. And to purposefully dehydrate would just never be called for in your life. You could be out working and you could be in the heat. There's a hose right there. There's water in your truck. You walk into the house and it's in the faucet. Like, there's just not a reason that a person would become dehydrated. So to do this willingly and then to become extremely dehydrated, 10 and 12 and 13 pounds, when you're 135 pounds and you cut 12 pounds of water, you just cut, what is that? This is off the top of my head. Was that 8% of your body weight? Is that right? Did I do that the right way or did I go the wrong way on 6? So 4% of your body weight? Either way, that's a massive amount of weight. And by the way, you're doing this in a very short period of time. If the weigh-ins are at 9 a.m., you're gonna start this about 9 p.m. the night before. So you're going to pull out 12 pounds. All right, if that 12 pounds would take a well-trained athlete at 135 pounds about 4 hours. It would take somebody in my weight class. I could lose 6.5 pounds every 60 minutes. I could lose just a little over 1/10 of a pound a minute. And I share for you, like, I don't blame the commissions at all. I don't blame them at all. These are adults. I would blame a commissioner if they stepped in and told an adult, a professional athlete that's in better shape than any human. I would have a problem with them stepping in and telling them health advisories and telling, right, the most healthy guy they're ever going to look at what healthy is. I would have a problem with that, but I am very hypocritical to that argument when we do the theater. Right? If you weigh a guy in today for a fight that's tomorrow, you didn't weigh the guy in. Just let's just start with that. And you're going to hear commentators go, well, his weight cut sure was bad. Shut up. You will never hear somebody that fought that said that. You will only hear a commentator who's never fought say that. And I only share that with you that a 24-hour weigh-in, there's nothing that could happen to me today that would affect me tomorrow in terms of a weight cut. Start with that, but then secondly, it's just the show that we want to stop it. No, we don't have to guess, and we don't have to have meetings, and we have to bring doctors in, and the NCAA had none of those advantages. Dan Gable, God bless him, is a wonderfully respected and tremendous person within our space. Right? Dan Gable and Mike Moyer solved this problem like that. So a couple of phone calls, and they said they put a guest together as guys who would cut weight, have been around this their whole life. They put a plan together that ended weight cutting in its tracks. It stopped it in its tracks. They do hydration. They do their own piece of theater as well to try to check boxes with the NCAA. But it's the hour weigh-in. Nobody can perform an hour later, and you level the playing field. And I really despise the idea. I just think that it's a very cowardly thing to do. I think that. I don't like weight cutting. My son is 10 years old. He's sitting over here right now. He's in wrestling tournaments, and these kids are cutting weight, or they're missing lunch the day before, things like this. We have breakfast, and then we go to the weigh-in. There's no weight cutting. We take on all comers. That's just a personal mindset, but I share that with you because I would like to see fighters get it. I don't get it. And there are some guys that have to cut weight. They have to. The history books would be rewritten if certain guys didn't cut weight. Like it's a part of the sport, and they're adults, and if they want to do it, go right ahead. But there is a price to pay, and that price was paid today on video.